trusted messenger. At KBLA Talk 1580, it's about truth, not ratings. And when you hear us say, when we come forward, we mean it. We mean it.
That's the bottom line.
We're not going back. Not to the back of the bus, not to back alleys, not back in the closet, and definitely not back to the good old days.
Might as well forget it. No way.
We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom fetishes? Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss you. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed. I hit you with a bad touch routine. How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my nips.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
You must understand the touch of your hand makes my pulse react. That is only the thrill of boy meeting girl opposites attract. It's physical, only logical. You must try to ignore that it means more than that. Oh, what's love got to do? Got to do with it. What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do?
The VOR, Voice of Reason, live on KBLA Talk 1580. Tonight we having a really deep discussion, and I'm very thankful for all the people that call in and share their testimony. I appreciate your transparency. I appreciate your honesty, because I know a lot of people don't like having real conversations, you know, and this show is all about real conversations. When mom and dad are toxic groomers. In other words, the toxicity in them, the ignored toxicity within them makes them the priority instead of the child. And so all the child has left is to model that. How do you prove a child is being coached by a toxic parent? Huh? 1-800-920-1580. Get to your phone line. I want to talk to y'all. How do you deal with a petty co-parent, a tit-for-tatter? The bigger picture is the child's happiness or the children's happiness, right? Children need advocates on both sides. Mom and dad, we are advocates. A child or children, they need a team. They need teamwork, right? And the best way to be an effective team, you got to go to practice. But you're not practicing on your partner with complaints. You're practicing on yourself by claiming what is yours to work on. What causes a parent to be emotionally immature? How do you deal with an immature parent? What is malicious parent syndrome? Oh, yes, such a thing. Such a thing. Heavy stuff. Heavy stuff that we have to deal with, man. If we're not going to have a real conversation, why do we tune in? We turn everything into entertainment. No, let's turn this into edutainment. Let's try to figure out who we need to be for the children's sake. right? Malicious parent syndrome is when a parent seeks to punish the other parent by talking poorly about them and or doing things to place the parent in a bad light, particularly in the eyes of their children. That's malicious parent syndrome. Oh, let me hop on TikTok and make a terrible video about the father of my child because I'm jealous of his life. I've seen it happen, and I'm sure the reverse has happened. Has it? Somebody call in. Talk to me. 1-800-920-1580. Toxic parents are typically self-centered. They're typically verbally abusive. They typically have controlling behaviors, typically manipulative behaviors. Typically, they lack boundaries. Have you experienced that? Were you raised in that type of environment? When mom and dad are toxic groomers. What kind of monster, let's just be honest, can I tell the truth? What kind of monster are you raising if you're not trying to defeat the demons or as Carl Jung called it, our inner dragons? If you're not trying to tackle your inner dragons. There is a documentary on YouTube I want everybody to watch. Go get it. It's called Finding Joe. Thank me later. Go watch the documentary, Finding Joe. Man, life beats some of us up so bad, right, that we start to normalize what has happened and what we've been through. It becomes a part of our magnus opus when we talk about ourselves, right? It becomes a part of our narrative. This is who I am, and this is what made me, right? Everything I ain't is what did Kanye say? Everything I ain't is what made me. What did he say? Is that what he said? Kanye said something like that. We're gonna get one of the youngsters to get the quote right. When I come forward, we got Orlando, Florida. We got Fred up in San Fernando Valley. I'm going to Fred first. And then we got Sam from Gardena. I'm going to Sam from Gardena second. When we come forward, the phone lines will chime in.
The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings will disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
To enjoy a Lowe's Pro Happy Hour. Kick back with free Pepsi Cola drinks and Frito-Lay snacks. Plus, earn 3 times bonus points per dollar on purchases of select Pepsi products. Come into Lowe's and get the full MVP treatment at Pro Happy Hour on November 17th from 2 to 5 p.m. While supplies last. Bonus points offer valid 10/27 through 12/8. Calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for human rights. The Los Angeles Civil, Human Rights and Equity Department, or LA Civil Rights for short, is focused on reducing bias and injustices while leveling the playing field. LA Civil Rights does this through equity and empowerment, the Office of Racial Equity, hate prevention, upward mobility programming, and youth programming. They convene commissions and advisory councils. The Director Capri Maddox, and is breaking new ground for municipal governance. LA Civil Rights oversees citywide initiatives, including the Renew Program, LA Repair Program, and the LA for All campaign. The LA Civil Rights Department believes that the goals of equity and inclusion for all people can be achieved through hard work and collective action. To get involved and be part of the solution, report a civil rights violation, or get more information, visit civilandhumanrights.lacity.org. That's civilandhumanrights.lacity.org or call 213-978-1845. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions had an echo in so much space. And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. And I hope that you are having the time of your life.
Ladies and brothers, the voice of reason gonna keep the energy high. Woo-hoo-hoo. Everybody crazy. Listen, man, my mother did the best she could do, man. She did the best she could do, and with what she was able to do, I was able to do the rest. I grew up. I learned. She has some limited skills. She has a limited toolbox, and the rest I was going to have to learn via trial and error. I took the onus off of her, and I took responsibility for me. Thank you, Mother. You've taken me as far as you can take me. But I first had to look at her objectively and say, oh, that's who she is. When we see them as superheroes, that's when our expectations of them become inflexible. No, they're not superheroes. They're regular people. They struggle. And typically, thinking that they're being a good parent, they conceal what's wrong with them to the best of their ability until it erupts in our faces. And then we model that because that's who they are. And we came from them. And our identity of self tends to come from who raised us. Let's get into it, y'all. Fred from San Fernando Valley. Come on, Fred, talk to us. Fred? Where Fred at? Fred, you gone? Okay, Fred, we got to keep it pushing. You might have to call back in. Sam from Gardena. Holla at me, brother.
I'm just so glad you brought up this conversation. I just listened to the guy just before a minute ago that you were talking to. Sometimes hurt replaces hate. And he kept talking to a 14-year-old young lady that he had. He never really said that that's not his child. He just said it didn't look like it. He kept saying it over and over again. And so I just want to bring something out. I got a lot of time in my hand. I'm a sociologist by degree in urbanologist by urbanology by degree also. I've been looking at one thing that's just an epidemic in our community. We got a real big problem in our community. We got to clear it up real quick, especially with this thing pushing the Roe v. Wade thing. Fraternity. Mm-hmm. Fraternity. Mm-hmm. You are not the father. We got so many young men that are damaged in this country because our system is broken. Not blaming the female. Blame could be there, but not blaming the female. The system is antiquated. Mm-hmm. It's terrible. The amount of money that the system is making off of these parents, these people who are not the father sometimes, is atrocious. We gotta get legislation, and we gotta get it in place real quick, because for some of these states, it's going to be a disaster to a lot of these young men. The point is simple. There should be no reason that a female walks into court and gives one person that she had a relationship with to the judge or whomever it is without revealing the others that may be possibility. There is no reason in the world that a man could be on a boat, on a ship. I had a case where a guy was a Marine on a boat, couldn't get back to the courthouse. 18 years later, he's paying child support because he just couldn't get there.
Failure to appear.
Failure to appear. You know about it. You know, you just failure to appear. Mm-hmm. Almost in some places, you just have to say, he's the dad. And that's it. We can stop this. All I'm saying is this. We need legislation. It is nothing wrong with having legislation where a female that comes forth and says that she has a child by a person, she must reveal every male that was in that period that she became impregnated. What's wrong with that? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that simple process there to eliminate the fact that you're getting the wrong person. He's not the daddy. He's not the father. We've got to do something here to stop it, because we have too many young African-American males that are being blamed, and they are not the father. So I put this out here to all of you out there. I don't have a problem with that. It's just that I've been studying it. I've gone back to, a lot of information on it now, and the state makes almost $64 billion off of this little thing when a person has back child support, real child support. The female gets little or none of that money back. The state gets it all back. It's ridiculous the amount of money that the state takes from these people. And also incarceration. Look at incarceration, how much they make off of just incarcerating someone. This is a business going on that's really robbing us people. Not only robbing us, but look at the child. We got to look at the child. Now listen, if a mother cannot tell a child who his father is, that's terrible. The child is broken for the rest of his life. His or her life. I see it often. We got to do something about this. And so I don't mind stepping out. If someone wants to get in touch with me, I have an email that I'm pushing now where I'm trying to get legislation going. I'm trying to get some people to work with this.
What's the email?
I think we can do it. Solicit, SOLISITME1 @gmail.com.
One more time.
Solicit, SOLISITME1 @gmail.com. Sam.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, man.
Keep up the good work. I keep up the good work. You're doing a great job. Do it. Don't stop. Don't stop. You're great.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. That was Gardena. You want to bring your city in the building, you know what you got to do. Call me at 1-800-920-1580. Khadijah, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Come on.
Hey, Joe, how are you this evening?
I'm acting up tonight. Come on.
Great show, great show.
Thank you.
You know, this is a subject and a topic that, you know, we really don't want to talk about as people, especially and more specific black people. And, in fact, my channel was called the Mental House TV for this reason alone, because I really believe not only was I raised by a minister from the nation and also a mother who I believe suffered from histrionic of some sort. And when I think about the dynamic that has on our family, the gaslighting and the, you know, just the triangulation of the children. And what we don't talk about is how when we have generation of dysfunction, what that does to a community. I believe, this is just my own opinion, that we actually have a pain body. And that pain body is so deep, though, that when we start getting into, you know, it used to be like back in the day when you had a young couple that had, you know, kids. Well, they usually had guidance a lot of times from the older couple, you know, or they would look at it and say, well, you know, you can't do that. You know, that's not, well, let's try it this way. Well, we don't have that today. And you got two generations of 13 and 14-year-olds having children. And so, to me, this is just, like I said, my opinion is that if you're not emotionally mature, and then you got a parent who suffers from, you know, all this abuse that they carry on generationally, it's a hard way to fight yourself out if you don't really believe that nothing is wrong.
Right, right.
So we have to start, to me, from that angle, to that we all have a pain body, and that we got to deal with that pain body, because the more, you know, as I look at my mom now, and I don't see her as infallible. Well, of course, she's in her 80s now, suffering with dementia. But the fact of the matter is, you know, I lost my father, like, back in February. But the fact of the matter is they don't have a clue to the damage. And a lot of parents and a lot of people don't. I mean, they didn't have Oprah. So, you know, a lot of these challenges that, you know, you have personality-wise, your parents didn't have the tools in the toolbox to even share with you. You know, and so I think that's the dynamic that we have to come, you know, from up under. But we got to focus on our toxic nature and why that they're like that. And the people that we learned from were very toxic. You know, my mother tells me stories that when she was grow up, that how they used to hide under the table because they would be drinking moonshine and, you know, fighting and stuff. And no kid need to grow up in an environment like that.
Right.
It's going to make them crazy, you know, and then their ability to have a healthy relationship is going to be minimized.
Wow.
You know, so that's really all I wanted to say this morning. Evening. But I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate you tackling this subject.
Thank you
really
so
do.
much, Khadijah. Call in anytime. We appreciate you got a seat at the table. Look, if you want to bring your city in the building like Khadijah just did, she brought Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the building. You want to bring your city in, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Sean, Orlando, Florida is in the building. Talk to us, Sean.
Hey, brother. Well, you know, I have to tell you, you know, what a wonderful show, number one. And number two, if you don't mind me saying, I really want to give a huge shout-out to Andy, Brother Andy, the engineer on this show.
Yes.
Producer, executive producer, whatever titles we can give this man, because he just kicks rear end every single day, and I'm just so... I'm impressed by him. So I have to say that. I'm sorry. I just have to. But
no, that's all right. That's Andy. That's all right. He deserves the flowers. Yes.
Absolutely. And when it comes to the kids, you know, and I have teenagers, and you know, even when you can do certain things that may be considered a luxury, and I agree. We're in Orlando right now at Disney World doing that kind of thing. There's an opportunity always to teach, because I never went to these places when I was a kid, right? I mean, you know, I want to make that clear. I was never poor in my life, so I was also very fortunate. I was never poor. I always had I could have good shoes, and had a place, a roof over my head, and my mom did the most amazing thing, like you were mentioning your mom and all that, doing the best she could, because my mom was single mom for a long time, then she got remarried, blah, blah, blah. But the point, what I'm trying to say is everything you do as a guide to your children, they pick it up. They pick it up like it's like, oh my goodness. And so you have to realize that when you've had all these things that you've already gone through in your life that are toxic and traumatic, okay, it's okay to talk to them about it, but don't take it out on them. And what I mean by that is don't sit there and try to tell them not to do something that you've already seen done or done yourself. It's much better to say, hey, we got a few minutes here, and it's kind of hard nowadays, with your kids to have a time to talk with them and chat with them and have a very nice conversation because all the screens, probably you and I didn't grow up with all those, but it's very important to say, hey, let's have a chat. I want to talk to you about this because, here's where, I did things in which it just was, it hurt. And I made these mistakes. That's number one. And number two, here are things that happened to me that I had no control over that hurt. This is what life is about. The most predictable thing you can say about life is that it's unpredictable. And I'm serious about that. And so if you're never going to have a perfect outcome or a perfect way to handle things, but just be ready. And be honest and be open, because otherwise, your kids are going to go find someone else to find that information from. I'd much rather it be from me or my better half, my wife, or my family. Because so I wanted to say that.
We got to move forward. Brother, I appreciate that insight, man. Thank you so much. You brought Orlando, Florida building. Thank you, bro. Listen, when we come forward, you already know he's made himself somewhat of a celebrity here. Fred from San Fernando Valley about to jump in here and take us for a ride. My hero has a heart to the life I wanna live. And all I remember is thinking I want to be like this. Ever since I was little, it looked like fun. It was so cool. And I can die when I'm done.
It's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Mike Island, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Democrat Katie Hobbs has emerged as the winner of the race for Arizona governor. NBC News made the projection as more votes came in from the race that had become one of the nation's most closely watched contests. Hobbs is the current Secretary of State, and she was running against former TV news anchor Republican Carrie Lake. Grammy-winning singer Roberta Flack is no longer able to sing due to ALS. According to her rep, Flack has a hard time speaking, but it will take a lot more than ALS to silence this icon. ALS is a progressive neuro disease that impacts the nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. The Miami Marlins are the first major U.S. sports team to have women leading day-to-day operations, with Caroline O'Connor being promoted to president of business operations. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Island from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
It needs inflation. When it comes to fuel, Lava Propane gives you 2 extra pounds more than other companies who short fill. You get more gas for the same cash. With the holidays coming, it's time to check propane tank levels. Visit lavapropane.com for value and location.
This to the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
UCLA is the only Pac-12 school in the top 10 of this week's AP men's college basketball rankings. The Bruins are ranked 8th. The top 5, North Carolina, Gonzaga, Houston, Kentucky, and Baylor. The Bruins are in action tonight at home against Norfolk State. The HBCU school is a member of the MEAC Conference. Other HBCU members of the MEAC: Howard, Delaware State, Morgan State, South Carolina State, Coppin State, North Carolina Central, and Maryland Eastern Shore. The Clippers are at Houston tonight. Kawhi Leonard and John Wall will be sitting out. The Philadelphia Eagles, the NFL's last remaining undefeated team, are on Monday Night Football tonight. The 8-0 Eagles are at home against Washington. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. This sports report was brought to you by MVP Accident Attorneys. When it comes to your settlement, we're slam dunk. Call 833-MVP-WINS or check their website at themvp.com for a free case review.
Call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys. When it comes to getting the maximum compensation you deserve, our team hits it out of the park. Call 833-MVP-WINS for a free case review.
Call me your MVP.
Drop it!
When you tune in to KBLA Talk 1580, we want you to know what you're downloading.
Now, you listen to me, and you listen to me closely.
In a recent African-American media issue survey conducted by the Public Opinion Research and Public Policy Consulting firm Eviteris, KBLA Talk 1580 was found to be the most trusted, credible, and reliable source on the airwaves for Black Los Angeles and beyond. Check it out. We take our role seriously as your trusted messenger. At KBLA Talk 1580, it's about truth, not ratings. And when you hear us say, when we come forward, we mean it. We mean it.
That's the bottom line.
We're not going back. Not to the back of the bus, not to back alleys, not back in the closet, and definitely not back to the good old days.
Might as well forget it. No way.
We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580 would like to thank all the businesses. We celebrate you, your calls to the station, and your overall support. To show our appreciation, we would like to treat your office to a lunch for 10. Brought to you by K. Michelle's Kitchen Catering. Open the KBLA Talk 1580 app or log on to KBLA1580.com to be selected for our Office of the Week. We know you are just like our staff, putting in many smart, hard-working hours per week. We just want to say thank you, and we appreciate you. You and your staff deserve lunch on us. Enter your office to win lunch for 10 and be highlighted on KBLA Talk 1580 as our Office of the Week. Open the KBLA app or log on to KBLA 1580 to enter your office today to become the KBLA Talk 1580 Office of the Week. Sponsored by K. Michelle's Kitchen Catering.com. Become the KBLA Talk 1580 Office of the Week. This has been a KBLA Talk 1580 community call to action.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. It's normal. With CalHope's free and secure mental health resources, it's easy to get the help you need when you need it the most. Call our warm line at 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org today.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens Find Direct's coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. Medicare annual enrollment ends December 7th. Find a plan that's right for you at walgreens.com/Medicare.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. Our My Social Security account allows you to access your earnings history and benefits information, request a replacement Social Security card, get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
You're listening to the voice of reason. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
put a spell on you. Because you're mine. Stop the things you do. What up? I ain't lying. I can't stand. Woo! No running around. I can't stand. No put me down. I put a spell on you. Because you're mine.
Ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. My playlist is my co-host. A lot of us are putting spells on our children because we can't control our emotions. We can't control what's wrong with us. And when I say wrong, it's not really wrong, it's a generational curse. But I don't like using generational curse. I say it's a generational task. It's generational curriculums. Right? You inherited some stuff from your mama and your daddy. Your daddy was a hothead. Your daddy handled conflict physically. Your daddy was verbally abusive. Maybe your mama was verbally abusive. These are the generational courses that you must take and matriculate through. And if your child, and I'm going to give you this, if your child sees you acting beneath your dignity, you must also show them the opposite. They must see you acting above your dignity or at your dignity's level. For too many of our households, there is a dignity deficit. And if you show out in front of them kids, you better show up for them kids in the best way you know how. They must be the first priority. I know women who mad they had a baby because their life got so-called preempted. I get it. You thought you was going to have a different life, but that ain't the life you have. You have the life you have. Agree or disagree? A toxic parent is more concerned with their own needs than whether what they're doing is harmful or damaging. They don't even care if it's harmful or damaging. They lack empathy. They likely won't apologize or even admit that what they were doing was wrong. And the abuse or neglect tends to be ongoing and progressive. So not only are they toxic, they're manipulative. That didn't happen. They gaslighters. That didn't happen. It didn't happen that way. You're making a bigger deal out of it than it really is. And these adults will carry this mindset into adult relationships and become codependent and needy and spiritual beggars, paupers, spiritual paupers. I know it sounds crazy, but it's real. 1-800-920-1580. Talk to me, Fred, from San Fernando Valley.
Okay, I'm here. I'm here.
All right.
I'm here.
Okay, Fred.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So let me
jump on the radio while you're at it.
A man who does not love his child does not love himself.
Ooh.
Man is a vain animal. We love to see our faces everywhere, on billboards, TV, everywhere, magazines. But what really makes my Johnson hard is to see my face on another human being. Man, that just tickled me to the bone. Mm-hmm. So any man will have this. Just like when you look at your child, Zoe, do you see your wife in his face, or do you see you in his face? Which one?
I see me. I see me and my daughter.
That's the vanity.
I see me.
That's the vanity of man. That's the vanity of man. So, first of all, like I said, when a woman tries to get back at me, out of spite through my child and so forth, I look in the mirror and I say to myself, damn, I don't blame her. I would want to get back with me too. So I don't blame her for getting mad because she's missing out on this. But what I do, I make sure that I make a superhuman effort to make sure my child knows that I love them. See, my baby mamas always wanted me to see me do bad, but it never happened. I always, like I said, I'm a chosen one. I always landed on my feet. When they wanted to see me in the streets, they seen me living in houses with basketball courts and swimming pools. It killed them because they always kept trying to say, go dad ain't nothing. He ain't nothing. But every time my kids saw me, I was living a good life. A good life. And understand this, for the women, if you weren't able to lock that man down as far as getting him to marry you, well, that's just how the game goes. But don't take it out on the child. Don't deprive the child of knowing his history, because the history comes from two families. And if the child don't know either side of the family, then basically the child is lost because he don't have an idea where he is in the universe.
Brother Fred, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for the insight. We got to keep pushing. I appreciate it. Thank you for the jewels. He brought San Fernando Valley into the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call us, 1-800-920-1580. Black Oak in my chat room said, how can you raise your child when the mother moves out of the state and doesn't tell you where they are? Just roll out. First off, in the state of California, I don't know where you are, in the state of California, the father has 6 months to respond to that. Listen, unless you have a custody, unless you have custody, joint custody, right? If you guys don't have custody, she can take the child, but she can't keep the child. You can go to the state of California or to child support and go, hey, she took the kid and they've been gone. But you only have 6 months to say that. After 6 months, it's just like a failure to appear in court. It's almost like the system will look at you as, oh, you didn't act. You didn't respond. You got 6 months to say, she left in the state of California. I don't know how it is in other states, but in the state of California, she leave with that baby, you can definitely say, bring that baby back here. We have to establish custody. That's if you don't have custody already. And if you have custody and she takes that child, that is kidnapping. You can't just leave. That's not how this works. You can't just bounce. If you guys have a custody agreement, you can't just bounce. Now, if you don't have a custody agreement, you got 6 months to respond. Like, wait a minute. Hold on. Now, that's in the state of California. Again, I don't know how this works out in other states. Other states may have different rules. But let me ask you this. How many men know that information and still don't do nothing about it? How about that? Sometimes men know that information. There are some men, I know some men personally, that know that information and be like, all right, be gone. I'm going to tell you now, this immature parent syndrome is toxic, man. Immature parents are scared of showing real emotions, and they tend to pull back from being too close to anyone in the home. This happens. You are responsible for a little spirit, a little soul, and you acting like a little kid. It has to be dealt with if you want to raise a healthy kid. When we come forward, the phone lines are open. The number to dial, 1-800-920-1580. We still got a lot to talk about. Let's do it.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Governor Newsom not supporting making kindergarten mandatory. Maisha Cairo here. It's your K-Black Minute News. The office of Governor Gavin Newsom released a list of bills from the current legislative session that he both signed and those that he vetoed. Among the bills vetoed was Senate Bill 70, which would have made attending 1 year of kindergarten mandatory beginning the 2024 to 2025 school year. Existing California law does not require children to attend school until they are 6 years old, the age that children typically begin first grade. Kindergarten is reported to help level the playing field for children who are less likely to receive high-quality child care or preschool. Parents and community members, what are your thoughts on all this? I'd like to know. Tweet us at KBLA 1580 hashtag KBlackMinute with your thoughts.
When you're the victim of a car accident, who goes to bat for you is crucial. We're MVP Accident Attorneys, the personal injury pros. Hiring the right law firm commits between a rewarding settlement and striking out. When it comes to getting the maximum compensation you deserve, our team hits it out of the park. Call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys at 833-MVP-WINS for a free case review. Call 833-MVP-WINS.
Call on me, your MVP.
Leaving things half done, not a good look. Like a half-done hairdo.
All done.
Shouldn't the curls be on both sides? A half-baked peach cobbler.
A gummy crust? I don't think so.
Or a half of a domino.
Bam! Big six!
But where's the other half? Don't go halfway, especially with your immunity to COVID-19. Stay up to date with your vaccines and boosters. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find one near you. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stop the violence. Increase the Peace Foundation is a nonprofit dedicated to fostering peace while mitigating violence in our society. Established in 1993, Stop the Violence, Increase the Peace has provided a wide variety of assistance to thousands of youth, families, and victims of violence over the past 3 decades, including intervention services, conflict and dispute resolution training, grief counseling, and victims advocacy. In addition, the foundation offers an array of classes focused on anger management, domestic violence, parenting, substance abuse, and more. To make a donation or to access services, call 323-445-8620. That's 323-445-8620 or visit www.increasethepeacefoundation.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
More of the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams right now on KBLA Talk 1580.
Mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Father, we don't need to escalate. See, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Picket lines.
The Voice of Reason and his co-host is on complete fire tonight. Man, when a child is being raised in the presence of 2 petty parents, their spirit is singing this song. What is going on? These 2 people I love the most. Why are they bickering? Now, we had a caller on from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Khadijah, and she talked about the pain body. See, a lot of times we get into this mindset, I'm pouring into my child, I'm encouraging them to do what they want to do and blah, 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 and such and so and so. Yes, that's one way to pour into your child. But you can also pour into your child's pain body by exposing them to negative experiences, and they then carry this around. Let me give you the breakdown of what the pain body is according to Eckhart Tolle and his book, The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment. The pain body, which is the dark shadow cast by the ego, is actually afraid of the light of your consciousness. It is afraid of being found out. Its survival depends on your unconscious identification with it, as well as your unconscious fear of facing the pain that lives in you. But if you don't face it, if you don't bring the light of consciousness into your pain, you will be forced to relive it again and again and again. And this is what we do. When we get close to healing, we push back. Because when you heal, you have to release what you have identified with this whole time. And if you release what you identify with, you think that's a type of death. An ego death, of course, for sure. But you have to go through that crucible in order to release yourself from the modeling you inherited from limited petty parents. Petty parents raise petty children. Argumentative, combative parents, they tend to raise the same thing. Now, how you transcend it, you have to renounce it. But you renounce it with love. You don't renounce it with criticism or judgment or condemnation. You don't do that. You renounce it in love. Mom, I know this is the best you could do at the time of your development. Where you were consciously, that was the best you could do. I love you for getting me to this point. Now it's my turn to take it to the next level. When we come forward, Zoe Williams is going to wrap up the show. You know, Danny Morrison and Robin Ayers are coming up next, but I still got 5 more minutes to cook. That's what's going to happen.
The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Where can you start holiday shopping now for a season full of savings? Lowe's, actually. Find prices you love, backed by the Lowe's Price Promise, like the 4-piece LG stainless steel kitchen suite was $4,267, now $2,986, for a total savings of $1,281. Check back daily for deals during Black Friday. Lowe's, home to any possibility. Offer valid through 11/16. Terms and exclusions apply. See store for details. Learn more at Lowe's.com/price promise.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that when we fight, we win. Community Coalition trains activists and organizers in order to support power building with Black, Brown, Indigenous, and people of color. Community Coalition works to help transform the social and economic conditions in South LA that foster addiction, crime, violence, and poverty by building a community institution that involves thousands in creating, influencing, and changing public policy. Founded by Karen Bass in 1990, Community Coalition was born as an African American and Latino organization with the goal of turning hopelessness and despair into action. The activism of the Community Coalition's members and community residents has almost solely stimulated economic recovery in South LA for decades, generating billions of dollars by redirecting them to South LA schools and foster care. In addition, Community Coalition offers amazing mind, body, soul resources, advocacy, and policy work, and has a robust and active. Get a referral or get support for your nonprofit. Visit CocoSouthLA.org. That's CocoSouthLA.org or call 323-750-9087. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
the voice of reason, and his co-host, my playlist. Unfortunately, you can't walk on by from your kids. Gosh. So many people, man, are so broken on the inside that walking away from the kids makes more sense than walking towards the darkness in their own heart, in their own souls. Listen, man, if you're dealing with or are a malicious parent, you might participate in behaviors like denying regular or uninterrupted visitation, denying phone access, denying the other parent access to participation in the child's school or extracurricular activities. You might be doing that. Lying to the child about the other parent, which involves accusations designed to sway the child against the other parent. Actually violating the law, such as refusing to obey a custody order. Engaging in endless litigation to punish the other parent. That's how you know you're dealing with a malicious parent. But all you could do is stay steadfast. I'm telling you, I see children grow up and find out who did all of this. Do you understand? Kids grow up and become adults and go, you were the one who did that, mama or daddy. It wasn't right. I need to get back over here to my folk. This is wrong what you did. Man, you better heal your soul in front of your child so they can learn how to heal theirs. I started the conversation. It's on you to finish it. The voice of reason is always on fire, man. Monday was great. My brother Danny Morrison and Robin Ayers are on their way in. The fire shall continue. I'll holler at you tomorrow.